Hello BC, what's going on? It's me, Will, and yes, I'm finally back with another new video. And in this video I wanted to try something a little bit different than in my past videos. Instead of just doing like a regular music update video or like a vinyl update video where I just show you some records that I've been picking up lately, I wanted to try something different where I came up with 7 different topics or 7 different ideas of things that I've been thinking of in the last few weeks or last few months, somehow related to current events or just things that happened throughout the last few months. And hopefully that will give me like an idea to show you some of the records related to those topics that I've been picking up lately. And I'm not sure how it's gonna work, but we'll see, I guess. So let's go ahead and start off with the very first topic. And topic number 1 is Record Store Day Black Friday 2018. I completely missed out on Record Store Day Black Friday last year in November. I just was out of town, and there weren't any good record stores where I was. I really wanted to go for. I really wanted to pick up that Ramones live record that came out then, but I missed out on it. I did go to a record store after, like a week after Record Store Day, and they didn't have it. I guess they all sold out. But hopefully later on I might be able to find it online. We'll see. But I did pick up a couple of things on Record Store Day, Black Friday, last November. I picked up a couple of things that I really wanted, and this is one of them. This is the Lookouting compilation that came out in Record Store Day Black Friday. It says a celebration of Lookout Records. Recorded live at 924 Gilman Street, January 2017. And yes, a compilation that came out dedicated to Lookout Records. And in case you weren't familiar with Lookout Records, it's the now famous record label of punk rock music and punk rock bands. Really famous for starting up bands like Green Day, of course, and other bands like Joe Breaker, Tilt, Pansy Division, Mr. T Experience. Lots of really great punk rock bands came out of Lookout Records in California back in the early 90s or even the late 80s. And they came up with this little compilation with lots of great bands that started off in Lookout Records. I guess they did like a little concert. And it's really interesting. Even though it's a compilation dedicated to Lookout Records, this album itself did not come through Lookout Records. It's not a Lookout release, obviously, because Lookout doesn't exist anymore. It actually went broke a few years ago, or a few decades ago, I guess. But it's still a really cool little compilation. Lots of really great bands are here, like Kamala and the Carnivores, Tilt, great band. The Potato Men, which is the band of the founder of Lookout Records, Larry Livermore. Avengers, another great band. Mr. T Experience. Lots of really great music here, and it's all live. So this is a really great compilation. Here are the records themselves. I think one of them came in on black vinyl. It's a double record. And the labels. And they did something really interesting in the labels where they put in the Lookout logo and the different versions of the Lookout logo throughout the different sides of the labels. They changed, I guess, their logo throughout the years. And the second LP came in on white vinyl. Similar labels, but with a different kind of logos from Lookout. And this one actually came out, like I said, not on Lookout Records, came out on Hopeless Records. And it came out last year in 2018, especially for Record Store Day. The second record that I picked up for Record Store Day Black Friday 2018 was a single, the newest single from the Joy Formidable, and this one's called The Better Me. I'm a pretty big fan of this band, even though I kind of got into them a little bit late. I really loved the album that came out a few years ago. I think it's called Hitch. Great album by the band. And I picked up their newest single that came out on kind of like a Coke bottle, transparent vinyl. And this one's Dance of the Lotus, acoustic, and the B-side, and the A-side is a song called The Better Me. And even though I do like the band quite a bit, I like their style, I kind of having a hard time trying to get into the newer songs from this band. They released a new album last year. I haven't really got that much into it, but I'm still glad to add this one to my Joy Formidable collection. Again, this is The Better Me. It came out last year on Record Store Day, Black Friday. So yeah, that's topic number 1. Topic number 2, Richie Ramone, the famous drummer of the legendary Ramones. Of course, he wasn't the original drummer. He was actually the 3rd drummer of the band. And this is a guy that not many people, I guess a lot of people know of him. I guess he's famous enough, but he's not the kind of guy or the Ramones member that a lot of people talk about and like out there very much at all. And actually, he came out with a new book last year. This one's called I Know Better Now. My Life Before, During, and After the Ramones by Richie Ramone and Peter Aaron. And there he is, legendary Richie Ramone. This book is excellent for any Ramones fan out there, for pretty much anybody out there. If you're a music fan, if you're a rock music fan, if you like the Ramones or not, doesn't matter. It's a great read, a really interesting read from a different kind of perspective, especially if you're a Ramones fan. I would say that if you already read the other books out there about the Ramones, this gives you a completely different perspective, different story of the Ramones. Not necessarily a different story or a contradicting story, but it gives you like a side of the Ramones that normally nobody has talked about before. This is from an era of the Ramones where they were already like a more established band, and Richie joins the band and he kind of gives them like a little bit of a different energy, a different style of music, in the drums at least. But it's a great read. I highly recommend that you check this one out. Again, Richie Ramone with I Know Better Now. He also gives a little bit about his background, about his personal life, how he grew up listening to music. He was always into music, surprisingly, not that much into punk rock when he was growing up. So it's a really interesting read. Again, check it out. I'll put a link here in the description in case you want to buy it. Alright, up next, so actually, before moving on to the next topic, I did go see Richie Ramone live last year here in Atlanta, Star Bar, and I did pick up one of his singles. This is Richie Ramone with I Fixed This. It was also signed by Richie. I also got a chance to meet him. He was a great guy, super nice guy. And this one came in on 2017 on Outro Records, red vinyl with the Outro Records labels. This is surprisingly very good. And Richie sings and plays the drums in his new music as a solo artist. And this is a very catchy tune. In case you want to check it out, I'll put a link here in the description also if you want to check out the music by Richie. And alright, topic number 3. And this one is a good one. This is Dinosaur Jr. is the topic. Of course, the very famous alternative rock band from the 90s. They're still, or from the 80s actually. They started off in the late 80s, I think, and they're still running strong by now. They released a great album a couple of years ago. And the interesting thing about this topic is that they were just recently in the news because one of their old songs from this record, from 1994. This one is Without a Sound, and one of the songs from this record that was never released as a single all of a sudden became a #1 hit in Japan. And everybody was wondering why. Nobody knew exactly why it happened. This is the very last song in the album, called Over Your Shoulder. Great tune, by the way, in case you want to check it out. It's from this record. And yeah, nobody knew why. All of a sudden it became a #1 hit. It passed some other pop hits, like some songs by Ariana Grande, I think. And I guess the story is that it was included in like a reality TV show in Japan, and all of a sudden a lot of people were downloading it in YouTube or listening to it in the streaming services. I'm not sure how, but it became a #1 hit, a 25-year-old song from Without a Sound by Dinosaur Jr. That was a crazy story. I had never heard anything like that before. And I just thought about Dinosaur Jr., how great they are. This is the kind of band that almost everybody agrees that it's a great band. And I just thought about it, and I was like, you know what? I don't have enough Dinosaur Jr. in my collection. I do have. This is the kind of band that I kind of got in a little bit late, and I really don't have that many of their records, especially on vinyl. I have just a handful of them, maybe on CD, especially the old ones, but I don't have that many of the new ones or the post-reunion on vinyl. So I just said I'm gonna go to a record store and I'm gonna pick up one Dinosaur Jr.'s album on vinyl. Doesn't matter which one, I just want another one in my collection. And I went out there, and then, of course, I found a really nice reissue of Farm, and this one came out in 2009 on JAGJAGUWAR Records. And surprisingly, these reissues are really affordable. There were a lot of Dinosaur Jr. reissues out there in the record store. They were all priced between $16 and $18. And this is a double album, and I picked it up for only $17. So it was a really good deal. I love the artwork on this one. I really love the new artwork, or the artwork on the newer Dinosaur Jr. records. And this one came in with a really nice gatefold. I guess the gatefold, you should really look at it this way, because it's a full artwork. And can't help to think how much this tree looks like J MASCIS for some reason. I don't know if that's intentional or not by the artist. And the records come in on, again, a double LP on just standard black vinyl with the custom labels. This record, Farm, is a record that honestly I haven't listened to it before. This is the record, the second album after the reunion of the original lineup in 2007 or 2009, sorry. And it's excellent. This is one of their most accessible albums. Their style has shifted a little bit by then. It's a lot more melodic than it was before, I would say. But throughout the album is just excellent. I'm yet to find a bad Dinosaur Jr. album. This one's really good. Highly recommend you check it out. Dinosaur Jr. with Farm. And that reminded me that just a few weeks ago, when I was also at the same record store, I also picked up a single by Dinosaur Jr. with a similar kind of artwork. This was a used one. It came out also in 2009. This is a single for I Don't Wanna Go There, and the B-side is a song called Tar Pit. And I think this one came in just on standard black vinyl. Another great single from the band. And that also reminds me that last year, at the end of last year, I picked up the newest album by the solo project of Dinosaur Jr.'s frontman, J MASCIS. This one's called Elastic Days. And it was actually, this one was included in a lot of the year-end lists of the top albums of the year last year. I didn't make my top 10, but it was close. I really liked this one. I heard that a lot of people were saying that it was not as good as before, or as some of his older albums as a solo artist, but I really liked it. Especially the title track of this record, the song Elastic Days, is just super catchy. And yeah, this is mostly acoustic, but he also mixes in a lot of electric guitars in this one. And I also saw Jay live last year. He was great. I highly recommend you, if Jay comes into your town, do not miss him, because he's fantastic live. All right, next topic number 4. This one might be a little bit of a controversial topic, but the topic is Ryan Adams. As you know, he has been in the news quite a bit in the last few days. He got involved, of course, in the Me Too movement. I don't know if a lot of people expected that or not. I guess we didn't know that much about him and about his personal life back then, but I guess a lot of people were kind of suspicious about his attitude towards women and about people in general. But anyways, in case you haven't read, he got accused of emotional abuse and sexual misconduct by some of his former colleagues and former partners as well, his ex-wife. And it's like 7 women that are accusing him of the same thing, so it's mostly very likely that it is true. And it is unfortunate, because I do consider myself a fan of Ryan Adams. I really like his music. And the question that I wanted to ask out there to everybody in the VC is that, are you able to differentiate or to separate the personal life of an artist that you really like and their musical or their artistic career? Can you separate two things? And my perspective is that yes, I can separate two things. I can still listen to their music and still enjoy it, but it definitely still affects the musical or the music listening experience, because once you listen to the music, you kind of have to associate it with the personal life of the artist. You're definitely, when you're listening to a song from one of their past albums that is about one of his former partners or one of their former colleagues, you're obviously gonna start thinking about these sexual misconduct allegations against him, and it's definitely going to be very disappointing about it. It's going to affect the musical experience, or musical listening experience of the whole album or the song, but I still think that I can enjoy it somehow. It definitely affects it, but I can still consider myself a fan of their musical career, and I'm definitely not gonna go out there and sell all my Ryan Adams records and my CDs and say I'm not a fan anymore. I still think that his music is good. I may consider not going to his shows anymore just because of that. That's kind of like voting with your wallet kind of thing, or not buying any more of their records and just streaming it. But I still would say that I do enjoy his music. I still like his musical career, and I would just love to hear about you. I may be wrong about it. I would love to hear about everybody in the VC, what you think about that. And that kind of got me thinking just a few weeks ago, before all this got announced about Ryan Adams, I was at a thrift store of all places, and believe it or not, I did find a Ryan Adams record. Like I said in one of my past videos, I go to thrift stores a lot, and sometimes, most times you don't find anything. Very few times you do find some gold, and I got lucky. I did find Ryan Adams and the Cardinals record, and this one's called Easy Tiger. It came out in 2007 on Lost Highway Records. I did a little bit of research about this one. Apparently, it's somehow of a rare record. I guess since it's the original press, this is one of the records that never got re-released, so there's only one pressing of this one. So I saw in Discogs that it's a little bit difficult to find. It came in on transparent yellow vinyl with the custom labels. And this one came in on Lost Highway Records. Came in with this little soft kind of sleeve. And as you can see, I don't know if you can see it there in the, oh, here it is in the sticker. I did find it at the Goodwill thrift store, but they did charge a little bit more than the usual records. I paid $5 for this one, which was still a good deal for Ryan Adams record in good condition. And it came in with interesting packaging. Came in with like a poster, a band with some lyrics, credits, and this folds out. A poster of Ryan Adams, now infamous Ryan Adams and the Cardinals. And this is actually a really good record. I honestly haven't listened to this one before I bought it. It's just set for $5. I'm just going to go ahead and take a gamble on this one. And it's actually a really enjoyable record. But again, I would love to hear from you guys what you think about the whole separating of the personal life with the musical career of an artist. Alright, enough of Ryan Adams, and let's move on to the topic number 5. And that's, there's been a lot of contests out there in the VC that I missed out on because I haven't been making many videos lately. But Hannah, out of the Omaha Introverts YouTube channel, I'll put a link here in the description. She was holding her 1,000 subscribers contest, and by the way, congratulations, Hannah. I'm sorry I couldn't make a video for your contest, but I still wanted to mention it in this video. She had her contest on, and one of the questions in her contest was to name 3 of your favorite female musicians or favorite female artists. And I picked up, I don't know if these are my 3 favorite ones, but these are the 3 that I really thought of just in the time of making the video. And here's the newest record by Juliana Hatfield, and this one's called Weird, and it came out just a few weeks ago in 2019 on American Laundromat Recordings. And Juliana Hatfield, an amazing, of course, female musician. One of her albums from a couple of years ago also made it to my top 10 albums of the year. This one is also really good. I gotta say, the first time that I listened to this record, I didn't get that much into it. But the second, third, fourth time, fifth time, and all the next times, I really dig this record. I really like it. Very similar to her last album, Pussycat, that came out a couple of years ago. And this one came in with a nice inner sleeve, cool artwork. And the record itself came in on green vinyl with the custom labels. Yeah, great record by Juliana Hatfield. She has such an amazing career. It's not surprising that this one is also very good. Very cool from the guys and gals at American Laundromat Records. I pre-ordered a record and they sent me a couple of free stickers from Juliana Hatfield and American Laundromat Recordings. And really cool, they also sent out a couple of buttons from the band, or from Juliana and from American Laundromat. And I've never seen this before. They also sent me some candy. They sent me some bottle caps inside the package. A really interesting way of promoting the label. That's the first one. And for the second female musician that I really like, I chose out of SLEATER-KINNEY. I chose Carrie Brownstein, of course, from SLEATER-KINNEY, and this is their album that came out in 2015 from SLEATER-KINNEY, No Cities to Love, on 2015 on Sub Pop Records. Fantastic album. This was my #1 album of the year. Actually got a chance to meet Carrie and the rest of the band when they came in and did a signing in Criminal Records in Atlanta. What can I say that hasn't been said about SLEATER-KINNEY? Just one of the best bands in history, I would say, in rock history. Just not just a female band, just one of the best bands overall, in my opinion. And the third one, last but not least, I gotta mention Kim Shattuck, of course, of the Muffs and the Pandoras. I'm a massive fan of hers. I love her style of singing and playing the guitar. The Muffs is another one of the greatest bands of all time in rock history. And this is one of the records from Kim Shattuck and the Pandoras, and that came right there. She was in the Pandoras back in the 80s, and this one's called Stop Pretending. And it came out in 1986 on, this one came out on RHINO Records. I actually picked this one up at the record show a few months ago for a really good deal, for just $18 an original press. I jumped all over that record. Came in on black vinyl, custom labels. This record is great. Really raw sounding, not as poppy as the Muffs are. This is a little bit more raw garage rock. And in this band, actually, Kim doesn't sing. She just plays I think she plays the bass in this band. I'm not really sure, but she's great anyways. And in the Pandoras, the singer, of course, is the late Paula Pierce. So that's my third one. My third favorite female musician, Kim Shattuck of the Muffs and the Pandoras. Congratulations to Hannah again on the 1,000 subscribers. Really well deserved. Topic number 6. And the topic number 6 is the legendary Henry Rollins. He came into town a few months ago last year. He did a really killer spoken word show. This is the second time that I saw him, and every time he's just great. He's a guy that just, it's an explosion of words. He has so many different stories from the past. Stories from when he met famous people, of his travels, of everything, and he just throws out there so much content and so many stories in just 1 hour or like an hour and a half that time just flies by when you see him do the stand-up or his spoken word. And while I was there, I picked up a couple of his books. Actually, I picked this one of them the first time that I saw him a couple of years ago, and the second one from last year. It's his compilation of writings or articles for the LA Weekly. This one's before the Chop #2. And it came in also signed by the legendary Henry Rollins. And I also picked up last year, before the Chop #3, the third compilation of his LA Weekly articles. And these are really interesting. This is a fun read because it's very short articles combined in one whole book, and it's one article per week. And you kind of can tell what he's going through a day in his week or a week in his life, and every story and every article. This guy just travels so much, and he just has, again, so many stories. Really fun read. Highly recommend that. Check it out. Before the Chop by Henry Rollins. All right, that last topic in this video, band reunions. That's my very last topic in this one. I would love to hear about you guys in the VC. What do you think about band reunions? And by band reunions, I mean a band that was very legendary or very popular back in the day. They break up for whatever reason, and then all of a sudden just recently they start making new appearances or getting back together. For example, the Pixies from a few years ago, or the Smashing Pumpkins from earlier last year. And I would love to see what you think about the band reunions. Are they good? Are they bad? And my opinion is depends on the situation. I think, of course, a lot of bands do it because of the money, not necessarily because they want to throw or make new music. In that case, I guess I can understand it, but I don't necessarily agree with the musical output because of that. Anyways, because of that topic, I wanted to show you a new record or a new reissue of the CARBONAS. They came up with this new record called, or I guess it's a compilation album. It came out last year on Goner Records. This is just called CARBONAS, and this is a band from here, a local band from Atlanta, that came out I think in the early 2000s, in the whole punk explosion or punk and garage explosion. It might have been like in the late 90s, and they were fairly popular here in Atlanta, but not that much outside of the city, I think. And all of a sudden they broke up, and just last year, or I think it was last month in January, they put together a reunion show, and a lot of people here in the city went out to see them. It was a packed show, great show. I honestly did not know much about them before that reunion. I just saw that they were going to play a punk show in Atlanta, and I went to it, and I was just so impressed with their music that I had to buy this record. Again, this is a compilation record with almost all their songs in their catalog. Look how many songs are here. It's like 40 songs in 2 LPs. And here's coming in with a nice gatefold. And the records themselves come in on just standard black vinyl with custom labels. This one's called actually called Your Moral Superiors, Singles and Rarities. So it has a lot of their singles, a lot of cover songs, and a lot of B-side songs from their singles. This album's great. From, I would say, the first maybe 20-25 songs out of these records are really good, and then near the end they really get into some rare tracks that are not really their best. Super high energy, fast-paced punk rock. If you're into punk rock, you will like the CARBONAS. They're very similar to the Ramone style of punk rock. Fast-paced, loud, and catchy. Again, the CARBONAS from Atlanta. But yeah, that got me thinking about the band reunions, what you think about it. And in case you want to make a video about it, feel free. Or if you just want to mention that in the comments, let me know. But that's it. Those are my 7 topics for this video. I know it was a long video. Sorry about that. Let me know if you had any questions about any of these records. Again, thank you for watching, and take care. Bye-bye.